welcome back to my channel, and I have Cleveland here once again to show
Hi
y'all
guys.
what is going on in Thailand, what is legal in Thailand. We have Br'er Rabbit Legal Advisory. Cleveland, you can introduce yourself again.
Okay, great. So I'm Cleveland English, the director for Br'er Rabbit Legal and Br'er Rabbit Advisory. So we're an offshore corporate advisory specializing in setting up companies for people here in Thailand and offshore to help minimize your taxes and to expand your business globally. Here in Thailand, we have Br'er Rabbit Legal as part of our group, and that is a corporate law firm. We focus again on matters of setting up different businesses, helping people purchase property here smartly. We also help with visas and work permits of the type that you would need when you live here or you set up a business here. So visas are tied like non-immigrant B for having a company and that sort of thing, as well as accounting and services tied to setting up a company and running it.
Awesome. So you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of busy, but
yeah.
Okay.
I get a lot of questions about the DTV visa and like just the requirements. But I know we were talking earlier. Can you give like your tips on like how to go about getting the DTV visa?
Okay. So there's two different types primarily. There's the type or say the most common type. And first, let me preface this by saying I don't do a lot with the DTV visa because it's not designed for us. So we're a corporate law firm. We set up companies for people that are going to be here in Thailand. The DTV is for people who are working overseas. They're remote workers, or they want to come here to Thailand and maybe learn something. Thailand calls it, the soft power. So maybe you want to learn Muay Thai, maybe you want to learn Thai cooking. And the DTV visa is set up to allow you guys to do that on your own from outside Thailand. So when you come here, it's already squared away and you're good. So there's two types. There's the one where you have, where it's remote work. And then there's another where maybe you have a class. And the biggest thing I would say is do as much of this as you possibly can on your own. Okay, don't pay someone to do this for you. It's made specifically so you don't have to pay someone to do it for you. And the only exception being the cost of the class. So if you're going to be taking a Muay Thai, I can tell you about some gyms like FitFac is a good one. I go there, right? And they're not paying, but I'm going there now for a minute. I checked on my video. I've been going there for 7 years. Awesome. They got a good program. You want to get your Muay Thai on, go with that. Otherwise, just follow the instructions online, get yourself sorted. If you're having a hard time finding information as to like where to go and what to do, what to pay and what the requirements are, just shoot me a message. I have a form, right, that lays out all the details about the DTV, the costs and the requirements and that sort of thing. As I said, I can't help you with it directly, but I can definitely shoot you that form and I'll point you in the right direction, get squared away. Yeah. Okay.
And it is really simple. I have a lot of friends who are in DTV visas and they've done it by themselves.
Yeah, you don't need help with that.
Yeah. So for those of us that are coming and want to start a business here, but they can't get a visa straight away, what kind of visa would you recommend for them to be on?
Okay. So all right. First and foremost, get something that's going to allow you to be here at least 6 months. So the DTV is a nice visa.
Yeah.
Maybe you want an education visa. Maybe you want to learn Muay Thai. Maybe you want to learn the Thai language. There's plenty of academies and schools that will give you grant access to the ED visa, the education visa. You can be here for years on that. Although they're just talking about tightening up the restrictions on that because a lot of people were kind of abusing the ED visa, just to live here forever.
Yep.
So now you might actually have to go to class, right? But it's a good one that will allow you to spend time here and to find out more about what type of business you want to do. And I say 6 months because a lot of people come here and they get excited. They see the low financial barrier to entry, starting up a company, and they want to do it right away.
Yeah.
Put some time in, put the work in, do your feasibility study, right? Be here at least 6 months so you know if this is where you want to be and what part of the country you want to be at. And then when you're ready, come talk to us. And then we can help you get your company sorted. But answer your question, something that's going to allow you to be here at least 6 months. Do an ED, do an education visa. But do not do the visa on arrival, right? 30 days and then just pop out to Cambodia and come back. Because that's playing roulette you know, because that's not a guaranteed visa,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is the immigration officer has the authority to just deny that,
Yep.
to approve or deny. So if they see you doing that 3, 4, 5 times, they might be like, nah, beat it.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you don't want that. All right. So get legit as soon as possible. Put some time in, put the work in. It'll be well worth it.
Awesome. Yeah. Stay away from border bouncing, y'all.
Yeah. You're doing that. I'm telling y'all.
I'm telling y'all. So another question I get asked a lot is about owning properties here in Thailand. Can foreigners own land? If not, how can they get property, own houses or things of that nature? Can we own condos? How can we go about this? What's your take on this? And
All
do
right.
you help with that?
Absolutely. That's our bread and butter. It's something that we do, and it's one of the things we really love. So, yes, foreigners can own property here. All right. The easiest and most simplest one is condos on a freehold. Yeah, foreigners can own condos so long as the ratio of foreign ownership in the building is correct. It's no problem. You can own the condo. You can even own it in your name. Now, that said, I wouldn't advise putting it in your name. For a number of reasons, profit and tax and that sort of thing. But I can get into that, maximizing your investment here. As far as land, that gets a little more tricky. All right. So under normal circumstances, no, foreigners can't own land. The Thai government is very strict about this. However, there are a number of exceptions. Right. So if you're coming here setting up a business, there's what's called a BOI, or Board of Investment promotion, which the government will allot you the ability to not only own your company 100% outright, but to potentially own land depending on what you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be doing some manufacturing, if you have some service that provides that you'll need warehousing or space for, right? You can totally do that, and that is a very worthwhile promotion, because not only does it allow you to own the company outright, to potentially own land, but it gives you great tax incentives. Like you can import for a number of years, 10 years, right, tax free, and it just adds a lot of value to your business. Can they own land in terms of, say, buying land for real estate investment? It gets tricky, and they're making it more difficult, right? But with the correct corporate structure, right, and Thai partnerships, it's doable.
Okay.
It's doable, but that's a conversation that is unique to everyone's situation. So I can't say here's a blanket solution that you just get some preferential shares and you can own it. No. Right, everybody's situation is unique. But if you do want to buy land, if you do want to own property here, let's talk about it, and we see if we can't work out a solution that fits for you, bespoke for each solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then owning a condo is a lot easier. Do they buy it outright, like just with cash? Is there a way that they can? Because I know in the States you have to put a certain amount down.
Right.
Is it like that here?
Financing is very difficult for foreigners here.
Okay.
Financing is very difficult. Generally, most people, foreigners here that buy property, with few exceptions, they're going to pay cash outright. The other ones that don't pay cash outright, they tend to be people that are married to a Thai spouse and they utilize their spouse's credit. But you don't want to play with credit here, by the way. It's not like it is in the States, right? You mess up on that, they'll come after you. That said, however, we have some solutions for people that are investing in property here, especially if it's towards the higher end. When I say higher end, maybe 750 to the early million, 1.5, 2 million. That includes that. I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically you can purchase property in Japan. We can help you with that. And then you can take a loan off that property in Japan at a very low interest rate compared to what you get here in the States. So you arbitrage that and then come over here and use that money to purchase a property here. So the Japanese property pays for itself because with the rental income, it appreciates. Meanwhile, so the rental income more than pays for the loan and your mortgage back to that. Meanwhile, the property that you want to invest in here, you just take it with the loan and you're good. So it's hard to get financing, But there are ways where you can make the money work for you rather than just, dumping in the property here and hope for the best. So we kind of really teach you here how to leverage and make the most of your investment. But we have the offshore element, so
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Can foreigners get loans here directly, though? Can we build credit?
Yes, but not right away.
Okay.
Right? So the easiest way for foreigners to build credit, and the most common way, is through your work permit. So you come here, you have a company, you work for somebody, you pay your taxes, you get your salary. 6 months to a year, you can approach the bank, and a lot of times the bank approaches you and get yourself a credit card. And I got a couple. You can get them with K Bank, UOB, any of the banks here, and they give you a limit. The apps are really easy to use, and it increases like relatively fast. You can get company credit, but that's a little bit more tricky. It's going to need to be at least a year old. Some banks, they have minimum capital requirements, like registered capital requirements, more than just the $2 million that you would normally have.
Okay.
And a lot of them want you to be 2 years, and your accounting has to be straight. That's something else we handle here, your accounting. So if you're doing accounting in such a way to really minimize your taxes, you're not showing enough profit, banks might not be as ready to give you corporate credit. So you kind of really have to balance that when you're trying to think how to manage your taxes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's all. I wanted to keep it nice and simple for us today. So I
tend to go overboard.
No, I love
really
it,
get
though.
passionate about that.
No, I do. I love it. This is what you do. So yeah, I will open the floor for any questions that we do have on live. Hey, we got over our 5K likes, and we're trying to get to 10K.
All right, congrats.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hey,
Thanks.
hey. Welcome to Br'er Rabbit Legal. We have Cleveland here. If you weren't here during the initial interview, Cleveland does pretty much everything, okay? Pretty much everything except for the DTV visas, because it's really easy. You can do that all by yourself. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment and let us know. Double tap. I did want to talk more about last time we talked about setting up a business, and it seemed more so for Americans, like setting up businesses as an American. Are there any type of differences for foreigners? Maybe they're in the UK or they're in Africa. Is the process just as straightforward as it is for Americans, or are there any other not loopholes, but any hurdles that they have to go through?
Actually, it's the same for everyone.
Okay.
The difference is the options you have in terms of special government promotions.
Okay.
Right? So if an American wants to come here and set up a company, someone from UK, someone from Ghana, from China, wherever it is, the process is the same. Okay. But they just the type of corporate promotions they have available are going to be different. So since you mentioned Americans, everyone knows they have the Treaty of Amity, where it's a Thai government promotion with the U.S. where they can own up to 100% of the shares. But when you start the company, right, the process of first you set up a Thai majority company first, right, with foreign ownership, and then you have to apply for the promotion once the company is set up. So all the requirements of setting up a company are going to be pretty much the same. The only difference is with the shareholders. And it's, again, it looks daunting. There's a lot of paperwork to sign, but that's what we're here for. We take care of that. And it doesn't matter where you're from. We can get you squared away with that. Okay,
that's great.
And we can let you know what sort of promotions you have available. Like, it's not just Americans that have stuff like this. Japanese got them too. And depending on what type of industry you're in, you might have a BOI promotion. Or, so it just really just depends on your individual needs. So I don't like to say a one size fits all. We handle bespoke.
Okay, awesome. I remember you talking about earlier different licenses, and I want to know, could I have one company and then have multiple licenses under that company? For example, having an entertainment company or production company, and then hosting events, doing photography. Could I be able to do all of that under one company?
Sure. So the way it works, Joy, so like you set up a company, right? And then when you set up that company, you list the type of activities
Mm.
that that company is set up to perform. So, for example, maybe you want like a lounge, so you'll have like let's say Joy's Entertainment Limited,
Okay.
right? For example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So under the activities, you'll have restaurant, serving food, entertainment, serving bar and
Drinks.
nightclub, drinks. You might have photography. You might have, let's say, heck, you might even, gosh, you might have import export if you want to bring in certain products, for example, like
wow.
because let's say, for example, you want to bring in alcohol, like you want to import something, so you'll need, you can put import export.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
just because you put the activities, just because you list the activities during the company formation process doesn't give you the right to actually do that.
Okay.
A lot of these activities require separate licenses.
Okay, okay.
So, but you need both. So you start the company with the activities you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you go ahead and get the licenses for that.
Okay.
Right, but yes, one company can do many different things.
I like that. I like that because then I don't have to set up multiple companies.
But here's the thing: is that the best tax strategy for you, though?
Oh.
Right. So it might be that you want to have separate companies.
Okay.
Right. For depending on your invoicing strategy, or if you want one company to hold property, right?
Okay.
Or you want to develop credit for one, right? And you're not worried about losses on the other. So again, you can, but it's good to double check to make sure if you should. Okay. Yeah. Gotta look at the whole picture.
But that's what you're here for, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we don't just set up the company for you. I really want to know what you want to do. I need to understand what your business plan is, your vision is. And then we just help you put everything together in a way that's going to make sense, make you the most money, and minimize your tax.
Great.
And keep you legit.
For someone like me, I don't want to do all of that. So it's great to have you here to think about all of the tax strategies and everything that's needed to keep me in compliance with Thai law.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't want problems.
Yeah. We don't want any problems.
No problems with government. We're good citizens.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm glad you mentioned about the visas, about the ED visa in particular, and people getting on it and not actually doing what the visa says. Because Thai immigration is locking down. See, like,
oh, they mad.
Thai people are, like I say in all of my videos, Thai people are very non-confrontational. They're very sabai, they're easygoing. But if you try to get one over on them, okay?
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
Wrong
okay?
Answer. Please don't.
You don't want the smoke. I'm telling you.
At all.
I'm telling you. So please, comply with Thai laws. If you don't know what to do or the right way to go about things, you can hit up Cleveland at Br'er Rabbit Legal Advisory. He can show you the ropes, and he can give you, you can follow him on Instagram, on TikTok at Br'er Rabbit Advisory, where he will share some tips. He has some things for y'all coming as well. He'll do his lives, all the things, all right? So make sure y'all go follow him, all right? Follow him, like, comment, and share, all right?
Thanks, guys.